Okay, welcome everybody. This is quite a turnout. I expect more, and it's kind of a unique day because we did move this out from last week, and it also now it coincides with Varinder's birthday. We want to wish him a happy birthday. Please raise your glass and wish him a happy birthday.
Thank you.
And
Thank
of
you.
course, for those of you that are coming to enjoy they're going to be sharing their wines at our home in South Orange County tomorrow. You'll see them then, and we'll be able to celebrate and have a glass together.
Yes.
So, and I'll just tell a brief story here uh, that I've told a million times, but because this has always kind of stuck with me. Back in when this group started, it rocketed in from like February or January, February of 2021. And by I think it was June or July, we were at 5,000 members. Then we were moving and we were approving members at a very rapid rate. Especially back then, it was just Raj and I forgot who else might have joined the team at that time. And I remember I had a message from Verinder, and he said we should talk. And so I think it was a late June, and we connected on the phone, and the first words he said to me, he goes, "Mike, I love what's going on here. I love social media." And from there on, we talked for about an hour and a half. And like I was telling Anita, we're both Gemini, so we can keep on going.
Yeah.
And anyways, so he was the very first industry person that reached out to me when this group got was kicked off. And I just happened to know the name Copia because I bought wine from the previous owner of the label, which was Michael DeWitt. And I liked his wine. But I have to tell you that Verinder and Anita have elevated the brand to a point where you see how popular the wine is now, and their state and the status in the industry there. So I am very happy to call them friends, and we've enjoyed a lot, spent a lot of time together, and we've stayed at their guest houses, which are fabulous. You should do that. Those are
Yeah.
really well located, right on the vineyard, and we took our family up there. My niece, who turned 21, Verinder did a vineyard tour. It was first rate, first rate. I learned a lot from that tour, and really, really enjoyed it. And I think that that's something I think you can make a reservation for. Is that correct? And you can enjoy that, and it's really impressive. So we had a really nice time, and I really thank them for everything they did. Anyways, we're gonna kind of get away from the usual format. We're not gonna go down the usual message things, but we'll just kick it off and then Jason, you jump in, and we'll just I'll let Jason take it from here, and we'll kind of get a little bit of go into a little small bit of background. But really, what we want to talk is what's happened to Copia, with Verinder and Anita since 2021 when we had them on here. I think in March of 21 or March, May, April, something like that. Of 21, we had you on, but we weren't recording them. We were on Google Meet. So this is a great opportunity. Is for catch up. A lot of things have occurred since then. A lot of growth and exciting things that you have done and are have going on for in the future. So, Jason.
Thank you, Mike. And before we jump in too far, again, happy birthday, Brenda. Happy birthday a day early, Mike. Mike, for your event tomorrow, are there any seats left if there's anybody here that is available and wanting to join?
No.
Okay.
I
All
have
right.
somebody on the wait list, and
High demand, sold out events. Okay.
you
Shouldn't
know,
have even asked.
it's,
Um,
I mean, if we had to shoehorn somebody in, I suppose we could, but we pretty much at like 52 people. That's counting the team and Verinder and Anita too.
that's
So,
full house. Full house. Okay. Well, as Mike mentioned, we're for all of you, and a lot of you are regulars, as I see. And as such, a lot of you already know uh, our two special guests and the brand. So as Mike mentioned, we're not gonna do our traditional format. That would be a little bit of a repeat. So we're just gonna kind of think of it as we're sitting in the barrel room, having a chat, and just to catch up because since we've talked last, there's been a lot of changes at Copia, right?
That's right.
Um,
Plenty, yeah. Well,
yeah.
as a for my own curiosity, is anybody, I mean, I see so many familiar names, I don't think so, but does anybody brand new to Copia here? Just raise your hand if you know nothing about Copia or it's the first time. Okay, we do have a couple.
Yeah.
So might be worth it to do a little something.
I would like to say thank you to Mike and the whole admin team. This group been really, really instrumental to our growth. As this group has grown, so have we, and we're very thankful and appreciative of this wine lovers community that you guys have created. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Can I just break in real quick? What's everybody drinking? Because I got to show off what I'm drinking. This is very good.
We already had somebody in the chat ask us what we're drinking, which you're going to be surprised. This is the bottle I'm holding up, but full disclosure, guys, I'm so sorry we're drinking something special.
Oh, I've been there.
We are drinking a Cornas from 2007 in honor of Varinder's birthday. For those of you who know Varinder and a little bit about the story of Copia, which we'll tell you the quick version shortly, you know that we're very inspired by Syrah. So Cornas, the one and only region in the Rhone where it's 100% Syrah. And this one's from 2007 from the Cave de Ten in Hermitage.
I've been there, and Cornas is my favorite little corner of that northern Rhone of that little community there. And a cool little tasting room at that place too, by the way.
Yeah.
I saw some amazing bottles go up. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah, the Pursuit, Bien Nacido Pursuit, drinking very, very well. 19. Yeah.
Oh, you got the 19. Cool.
Way to go, Mike. Well done.
Cool.
Mudit, I didn't see your bottle. You're muted.
It's also 19, but it's the Sebastian.
That's fine.
Sebastiano,
We had
nice.
that yesterday.
We had that yesterday.
Nice.
Very good.
Thank
Okay.
So because most of the audience is familiar, we won't do so much the deep dive on the background, but if the two of you could just give kind of a background summary, maybe the love story we all like to hear, and how that led into the birth of the business.
You? Me?
Yeah, I
You?
mean, neither of us came from wine families or wine drinking families. I never had wine till I was mid-20s. I grew up in northwest of India, Punjab, and grew up in a farmer's family for the last 13 generations. I was the first from both sides of the family to go to college. And the reason for that was because our farm got so smaller that my parents realized that we have to do something else. So I moved to Canada when I was 21, did my master's in Toronto. And that is in the corporate world, I was introduced to wine and fell in love with wine right away and started chasing different wine regions. And then in 2000, I moved to Indianapolis, Indiana for job and spent most of my life there. And I was working in a company, Alcoa, as a marketing and sales manager, and I happened to have California and Baja California as my region. And I was here in California almost every month and absolutely fell in love with wine here. And around 2012, 13, we ended up selling our farm in India, bought a small piece of land in Lodi, California, and planted our first vineyard for Gallo. That was how my entry was into the wine industry. And after the Gallo they did the machine harvest of the grapes, we will pick whatever is left and make a little bit of wine. but that wine was not really good. And that's when I decided if I really want to do some, really want to make wine, I need to learn. And I went to UC Davis and did their winemaking certificate program and learned how to make wine. But the idea was just to make a barrel just for family and friends. And then in 2015 May, I met this young lady right here, and everything changed as far as the wine, my winemaking is concerned.
Yeah, we only met in 15, so 10 years we're talking about now, in the middle of that year. And by the end of that year, we found ourselves in Paso Robles. As part of his studies at UC Davis, there was an educational trip that we took here, and that's what really changed our whole lives. My background, the shared background we have is we're both super passionate about wine, but for very different reasons. He had a discovery in his mid-20s. Same story for me. I grew up similar to him in an Indian family. I'm the first of my family born here in the States, in Chicago. And I didn't really enjoy wine as a beverage also until my mid-20s. I studied broadcast journalism and worked in, yay, Dave, and studied broadcast journalism, did the TV thing for a couple of years, and made a huge leap into the world of restaurants, because that was also a passion of mine. So hospitality, food and wine, and that whole journey together is what really sung to me. I moved from Chicago to New York City and worked at Michelin restaurants and helped to open a restaurant, and started to get really knowledgeable about the world of wine, but from the consumer standpoint, which I consider a huge plus, because I find more in common with you all every day, more than I do with the winemaking side of things. Although being a family-run business now for about 7 harvests or 8 harvests, 7 harvests, we kind of both do everything at Copia. We both have our hands in the cellar, and we both have our hands in the hospitality side, and it's kind of the way we like it. It's a small team, a core group of people, and we're just really passionate about what we do. So lots and lots of things have happened, as Mike and Jason alluded to, over the last couple of years, and Copia, namely Copia, growing from 1 West Side Paso estate to now 2. So that's just the quick and dirty of it, but we have lots and lots of fun things to share.
Well done, by the way. I'm curious, Verinda, that first, I don't know if we talked about this before or not, but the first vineyard you had in Lodi, what grapes were you growing there?
It was 100% Petit Syrah.
Oh,
16 acres planted, and we were selling it for $625 a ton, but we were producing around 12 tons an acre. It was it was totally different kind of farming. That's how you make $10 to $15 bottle of wine.
For those that don't understand pricing of grapes and tonnage, the grapes here on the west side of Paso, which is why we charge what we charge for the wine that we make, it's something like $8,000 per ton of grapes, as opposed to
and the yield here is 1.5 to 2 tons. So the economics are totally different when you are especially on the west side of Paso, because we cannot really use machinery. Every single wine gets touched by humans 6 times every vintage.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
yeah, no worries. I think we're going to get a lot of questions, and I would encourage you to go ahead and post questions, because we are going to be a little bit more free flowing this time. There are a couple of Chicago shout outs, and I'll add to that as somebody from the area myself.
I
There
think
you
what
go,
we'll
Chicago.
do is I'll look at the thread, and I'll let somebody throw in a question while we're moving along, so we
All
can,
right, perfect.
instead of doing
Thank you, Mike.
instead of a big Q&A at the end, we'll see.
Perfect.
I'll look and see what everybody's asking, but put your questions on the side, then I'll call on you and you can ask the question.
Okay, so let's fast forward then to these last couple of years, and what some of the transitions have been. Let's go from that first downtown tasting room to what exists today and all the transition that's happened.
Like when we,
Yeah,
when we
so
opened downtown, very interesting timing. And I think we met most of the fanatics just after we opened that downtown location. It was 2019. And then we all know what happened in 2020.
yeah, chronologically, we came here in 2016. We were interns at Booker. 17, we bought our first property. It's a 50 acres. 18, we planted 20 acres there, and the idea was, we're gonna have a small winery there, and we applied for the what they call the minor use permit. And it, and then we said, okay, we were in Paso Underground. We said, oh, we want to have our own little tasting room. So in 2019, what month was it? May, we opened that and we started our club. So we had zero club in May 2019. And as we were signing up clubs, I think the club was started in November, and then March we were shut down. We didn't have any outside seating, and we had only one employee and two of us. And in March 2020, we were shut down. At that time we had 50 club members, and our email list was probably a couple of hundred people, and it was like, what to do now?
Yeah, it was really challenging, but I have to say that's why Varinder had so much time on his hands to discover Paso Robles Wine Fanatics.
Yeah.
And I think when he had reached out to you, Mike, it was like something like 3,000 members at that time.
Mhm.
Is that right?
About five.
Five-
We were
five-
close to five.
5,000 members.
And the funny story about that is, in fact, so we didn't want to let our employee go. So we said, okay, just come home. We have a little office. We'll just, we'll work from here. We'll reach out to people we know. And then we started doing a couple of tastings at our home, but we set up our carport as a tasting room. So it was outside. And one of the posts that was the first post I saw on Facebook from Jennifer Prim.
Were you calling her out?
It's
She's not
okay.
even here.
I love Jennifer. She knows. And
Yeah, where is she? Oh, she'll be here tomorrow. That's
yeah,
right.
she posted, she said, great wines, love the experience, but we had to sit on a carport. I'm like, yes. So
There was no way around that. I was like, yes, it is a carport, but for COVID time, it's our tasting room.
So I reached out to her, and then she was like very helpful. She said you should, and then we, of course, I reached out to Mike, and this group became instrumental for our survival.
I did buy. I said I'll buy 3 bottles from you. You sent me 3 bottles. I love Syrah. So
Yeah.
that's a hook right there. And I remember I go, Chris, no, we got to open them all. We open them all, and we're sitting out in the backyard. And I go, we got to open them all, and we got to try them all, And then I just posted a picture up of us drinking them, and they were all good. I love them all.
Oh, that's good to hear, Mike.
And that was in. I just want everybody to know that was not a paid advertisement.
No, you paid for them. Yes, and you've been very
No, but things blew up kind of after that. And I remember people asking, I don't know Copia, I don't know them, but hey, that's how word gets around. It's all about word of mouth, and that's
exactly
good marketing really happens.
Actually, Carol, Susan, and Pete brought up, during COVID, we also, look, we had a downtown tasting room that we just opened. We had a club that had 30 members at that time. And to be shut down was for a small winery that is now ready to release this really awesome vintage that we're proud of. At that time, it was our inaugural harvest, the 2018 wines, the first wines we made together. To be shut down completely, and then to have asked to be open, but you have to serve some food to open, then you can't open, and it was like whiplash. Honestly, we just decided to go rogue and open our home to whoever was interested in coming to wine country at that time. And then we also did what Carol, Susan, and Pete brought up. We also kind of dove deep into social media and not only the Wine Fanatics page, but also I think I sent an email a week to people during COVID.
Almost a
One,
blog.
almost a blog that we were sending out because we were finding that people just wanted to connect. They just wanted their creature comforts and things that were familiar to them. So whoever was on our email list, you heard from me once a week. And one of my passions, and that comes from the journalism side of things, is storytelling and writing. And I found it to be very meditative during that time to just keep reaching out to you all and writing and putting out what we're doing. And 1/4 of the email was about wine. It was mostly about what music inspires us, what books and poetry inspires us, what art, what we're doing at at this moment in time. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a wonderful place to be COVIDing, the Kyler Canyon Estate. It was the Willow Creek Estate. It was a very nice place. So nice that our entire family came and camped out here during that time.
Oh, I got a question though. How here you are, you're on the runway and ready to take off, really take off, and then they close the airport, kind of.
Yeah,
That had to be pretty scary, right?
it was.
Financially speaking, right?
Yeah, it was very scary.
Already a financial, interesting business to
Exactly.
get
So
into.
it was very scary. Plus, we planted a young vineyard. It was to the point where we're like, you know, it first couple of I would say first month it was really, really hard. Then we just said, okay, well, we're gonna put our head down and we're gonna reach out whatever medium we can. And it started to flow. I think by September 2020, we were glad, you know, we all the employees were happy. We were all very careful, and we kind of it took those 3 to 4 months to get in the comfort zone again, and then we started to you know, started to grow, and we got some initial critics reports came in, and they were very helpful. I still remember Jeb's first review of us, like it was wonderful. He wrote and so it just, even though it was scary, but I think within 2 months we got in comfort level. That's why I think group like Paso Robles Wine Fanatics is also gave us a lot of support, in the sense like you knew people out there enjoying Paso wines, and we are on the right track. It was just a matter of time.
Ironically, by the end of the pandemic, it turned out that period turned out to be a big boom for the industry, right?
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of you know, a lot of companies had a lot of backed up inventory. For example, Danner, and they were able to sell all that through in 2020 and 21. We didn't have that problem, but because we don't, you know, we did sell some wine, but that's all we had. We had only 200 cases to sell, and we were lucky enough. Just going back to 2018. We were able to get into Danner to make wine, and we were the last winemakers who made their own wine there, because as time progressed, Anthony started making everybody's wine, whoever was at Danner, except ours. And you know, as you asked, so we were literally cruising. We were waiting for our permits to be done from the county, and then in 2022, I got a call from Ron Danner, approximately I think in May 2022, and he was like, "Did you get your permits?" I said, "No, we're still working with the county. We just, you know, everything got slowed down because of COVID, and then we, you know, had a little bit of resistance." And he goes like, "I have a news for you." And Ron became a good friend of us, even though he didn't work in the winery, but he was always almost every day there. And he goes like, "I'm gonna tell you very confidentially that my succession plan is to sell, and I am in negotiation with somebody." I said, "Okay, good luck, and thank you." But he goes like, "But you never know that whoever buys may not allow you to make wine here." I said, "Okay." So I kind of heard. I told Anita, I said, "I don't think it's, you know, this is not the right market." You know, so I was like, I kind of ignored it. And few days later, he goes like, "I got into contract. I cannot disclose to the people, but it's a big company." I said, "Okay, sure." So I started looking around. Our idea was, okay, well, we'll keep our downtown tasting room, maybe find a place to make wine in Tin City. And at that time, Tin City was absolutely full, no place available. Looked around, nothing in our budget to kind of, to go and make wine. So I started thinking like, uh, hopefully it doesn't happen. And so we kept going, doing our regular thing. And the most catastrophic call I got was in July. I still remember in July, he calls me. He's like, hey, it is Gallo. They just signed off the due diligence. They are, it's gonna close, and hopefully the escrow may close before harvest. I'm just telling you because Gallo does not allow any other outside winemakers. They will make wine for you if you want, but they will not let you touch anything. I'm like, the only reason we are in this because we want to do things with our way, with our own hands, and so there was one property we signed back in June and kind of said no because it was a lot of work and I could see it's a project. And then I called my friend Gwen, who's our realtor. I said, Gwen, you showed me that property back in May. Let's go back there. This time I'm gonna have different sets of glasses on me. And so we went back in July and like, yeah, we can do this. We have to do this. And so we signed the agreement. We sold our Lodi property, literally did 1031, bought that property and closed that escrow end of August. And that was 2022. And 2022 harvest started in August. So we started so 2022, in fact, that's what most of you are probably drinking. Half of that harvest was made in Denver. And by my target date was to open our processing line was on September 5th, which we were successful. But by that time, half of the harvest was already done. And then we moved to Mustard Creek full time in September, and we did the rest of our harvest there.
So was the Mustard Creek property available, or that just came up fortuitously?
Was what they call in real estate a pocket listing. It was a winemaking couple that was looking to sort of retire, but they weren't really officially like listing the property.
Yeah.
So it was in fact, my realtor Gwen and Jennifer, who was Victor's wife at that time from Wines on the Americas, they were good friends. And Jennifer always told Gwen, like, we're getting very close to, get out of, we want to retire. And so Gwen kind of told her, and it was really nice transition, I would say transition for both of us because we let them use the tasting room all 2022. So we did not open that tasting room till June 2023. So we basically focused on the wine making facility. We ended up building a second building there, a couple of other, small buildings. And then we realized that vineyard was in a bad shape. And so we took the vineyard out, and it was conventionally farmed before. And we farm organic. And so we took the vineyard out. And last year we replanted that vineyard. So needless to say, from 2022 August till literally a few months ago, we've been working hard to change that property to our likings, which means the building, the facilities, the winemaking equipment, and then as well as we replanted the whole vineyard last year.
I think another important thing to note is that even with our estate vineyard, where most of the wines you're drinking now, if they are 21 vintage onward, are from the Copia estate vineyard, the Willow Creek estate. The important thing to note is Varinder has really dedicated himself to doing things the right way, which the right way isn't always the easy way. So we are contending with, doing everything organically. We use some biodynamic processes, and most of all, we are certified sustainable, which is a little bit different because there are a lot of different things that you have, some requirements that you have to meet. And just to add to that list of amazing commitments that he has for both of these estate vineyards, he's also decided to go regenerative organic in the next year here, but in the next couple of years at the Adelaida estate. And that comes with its own set of interesting commitments that you have to make to not till the land, for example, to keep all of the healthy stuff that's in the soil
Use animals.
inside the soil. In fact, I'll throw it in Netflix and in the chat, an amazing Netflix documentary for everybody to watch if
Farm?
you're curious about this topic.
My Little Farm?
That's a great one, but it's Kiss the Ground.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen, I only saw it recently. So.
It'll show you the difference between conventional farming and regenerative organic farming. And in fact, come to the Copia Adelaida estate and taste with us, and you can see it in practice. You can look at our neighbor's vineyard in comparison to ours. Ours is like what you might call a very endearing kind of wild child. It doesn't always look the most manicured and the most pretty. It's a little scraggly, but to see that life and to see that green out there it's a happy thing. It's an alive thing. Yeah. And it took us a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
Before we replanted this. We were really committed to it.
And you've got the best neighbors in the world in Topless Creek if you need guidance.
Yeah,
I imagine.
Absolutely.
Huge inspiration. In fact, all of our staff is over at Topless right now. They're holding an amazing industry event.
Yeah.
For the rest of the group that doesn't know, Topless was the first winery in the world to go regenerative. And
Right.
they're helping to teach others around the world.
Yeah, and it is really, really, I mean, our Willow Creek estate, starting last year, we decided we're going to go regenerative. So we have not tilled this for 2 years now. We used a lot of sheep this year for mowing. And this year we did 4 to 5 tons of compost, organic compost in every acre. And I can always, I already see the changes, I know I was asked a question a few months ago in a seminar, like, do you see the difference in wine? I'm not really sure yet because we haven't gone that far, but I do see the wines itself. And when you walk the vineyard, you can see the health of the wines is much better. The soil looks healthy, and it retains much better water. And if you look at it, it is just a good things are happening. It's just a ecosystem that you develop between the microbes in the soil and the roots. And I think over time, it's a no-brainer for most of us, or all of us, to change into regenerative organic, especially if you are, if you're already organic. It just makes sense.
Interesting that you had the different experiences with Gallo that you had, and I imagine the second time around, where it was a concerning phone call, does it feel now like a blessing in disguise?
It is, and honestly, we're still going through some of the how to say nicely, because we ended up spending all of our reserves on the new property to do whatever we needed to do. So we feel the cash crunch, but exactly what you said, it is a blessing in disguise in a way that happened. And when when you have your own facility where you are making wine, it's so much easier. We have a little house there during the harvest. We end up we don't have the worry to go home. We just sleep there if we need to, and just it feels much better to to have your own facility. So I'm very happy. And then I don't have to when I was making wine at dinner, sometimes you have to wait for the press, because there was only one press in the beginning, then they had 2, there were 7 different brands being made there. You have to get in the line to do certain things. And now we have, like, I can press right on the dime, like, okay, I want this 9 a.m. we're gonna press. We can do that, you know, and that gives, and then the same thing with the processing. Sometimes over there we used to bring in the fruit, wait for 24 hours before we got in the line to process, and that was just being, you know, just those were the rules, and you have to be courteous to the other winemakers and other brands, so you have to get in the line. But now, since it's just us, we can, you know, we can be a little bit more efficient, more precise.
So,
John and Jimmy, I think I saw you're drinking a 22 wine, right? The 22 Pursuit. The Raymonds are drinking the 22 Pursuit. That's the same year that we moved to Mustard Creek. And for those who know Paso, oh yeah, there we got another one right there, Delia and Mike. We 22 was a rough year in Paso. For those who taste a lot of Paso wine and talk to a lot of Paso wineries and owners, you know that 22 was a very interesting and challenging year for us. So imagine the worst sort of harvest on record for the Central Coast and other regions of the world for whatever reason. Some winemakers who have 40 harvests under their belt are telling us this one was the worst. We're also moving wineries in the middle of that. What a year. What a year.
Yeah. So in 2022, as I said, I'll talk about that harvest. It was one of the beautiful harvests. As before we got to the Labor Day weekend, we had a wonderful growing season, and then this heat dome came on California, and we had approximately 11 or 12 days in a row, which were 100 degrees and above. So usually the wines can take up to 3-4 days in a row up to 100 degrees, and then they come back. But nobody kind of knew in Paso what will happen. And what really happened was that some of the grapes which were closer to harvest, like the Grenache, Cabernet, and Syrah, they ripened so quickly, and you had to take them off the vines. Especially Cabernet and Syrah, they are smaller berries. So when you have that kind of heat, they shrivel pretty quickly and they become raisins. So we had to, and they were picking crews were working 2 or 3 shifts sometimes. So we were picking 24 hours a day. Most people were picking because everybody wanted to pick. And then right after that heat dome was gone, we had around September 20th, we had around a little bit of rain, which is also not common at all in California to get any rain in September. But we had this rain event, and after that, it cooled down, and we had most of the rest of the grapes, which in our case, it was Mourvedre, Petit Verdot, which you're drinking 22. They were not affected by the heat dome because they were still green. They were not ripening when the heat dome came. So we were able to push them till the middle of October. So literally in 2022, we had 2 harvests. One harvest was early September, which was Cabernet, Syrah, and Grenache in our case.
It's
And
totally atypical to have
Exactly.
Cabernet in September.
Right. And then there was a lull. Literally, we had nothing to do 3 weeks. And then we had the rest of the varietals, Mourvedre and Petit Verdot came. And that's why the Petit Verdot became a pursuit, because that was our one of the best wines that year we were able to make, because that was not impacted by the heat dome. And Mourvedre was our saving grace, and a lot of blends we were able to balance our Grenaches and Syrahs with a little bit of Mourvedre.
Let me talk about it a little bit in a consumer way, because that was a lot of information. 22s are the best wines Copia ever made as of last release. So it doesn't matter that it was the worst possible harvest on record for many, many winemakers. For us, it was the best wine we ever made. And we're really proud of
next year.
until next year. And we're right now working. We just bottled those 23s, guys.
Can't wait.
And when I was, and my wife and I were there, we drank the 22 cab, correct?
You drink the 21.
21 cab.
21, that's right. Gotcha.
Yeah, cab we hold back an extra.
That was good. That was really good.
Yeah, that we hold the cab back an extra year. So that is current release. But the 22s are amazing wines. It's just that it was the year of the winemaker versus the year of the vineyard. And the way I always tell this story to you guys in the tasting room is that it was a difficult choice to balance whether we were going to pick these grapes and get them off the vines because of just sheer panic, to be honest, in that harvest. And we're also working like burning the candle at both ends, as one always does in harvest, but it was even more intense in 22. It's just the fruit kept coming, and the crews are working double time, as he said. But we also made some interesting choices to keep certain things hanging and not panic. What that meant was that we had more phenolically developed beautiful fruit. Varinder has this wonderful way of just kind of showing people like it's 99% water and 1% all that awesome stuff.
Not 99.
Or 90 what?
85% water.
85% water, and then the rest of like what you are really looking for is such a small percentage. And if you don't pick at the right time, you're really jeopardizing that.
Yeah.
So what we chose to do was keep certain things hanging. And yes, we sacrificed some yield, but what we did get was the very best it could possibly be. And I know Bev had a question. Should we drink the 22s before the 21s or the 19s or the 18s? Like by
Good
and
question.
large, some of these 22s, yeah, 20s and 22s, you should probably enjoy those a little bit sooner than the 21s.
Yeah. If I look at the last 7 vintages, I could give you an idea. Right now, 17s and 18s are tasting really good. If you have some of those, you should drink. And then 19 was a great year. If you want to hold on to 19 few more years, that's fine. 2020 is very drinkable in youth. 21 was again one of those iconic vintages from Paso. 21 is very good to hold. And 22 is a very drinkable in youth. As Anita was explaining, we were able to create that phenolic balance when the wines are youth. So I would say it depends upon your palate. If you like softer and subtle tannins, then 22 is very drinkable upfront. 21 you can hold on a few more years if you want. In fact, but if you want to hold on 22, it'll still age because the structure is there, acid is there. Wines, good thing about Paso is most of the Paso wines are not flabby wines. We have the calcareous soil, so we have that acid backbone to them, and we are able to, if the winemaker decides to extract, there is enough structure that these wines for 10-15 years they will give you more pleasure as you age them.
Must be one of the greatest compliments for winemakers vintage like 22 when you hear people tell you that they love 22s.
It is so I'll tell you what we say behind the scenes sometimes, and I'll share that. If you messed up 23, you shouldn't be making wine. And if you knew anything about winemaking, you made good wine in 22. So 22 was, as Anita said, is very much made in the cellar, meaning winemaker. And I'm not talking about myself. Most of us, we had to use all the tools we had to create the balanced wine, and starting from the picking decisions. And in 23, we were, it's such a long and slow harvest. We were able to. You couldn't make a mistake as a winemaker. You just picked it, and then as long as you took care of the fruit in the cellar, you're gonna have a great wine. And anything and everything I've tasted from different producers, including us, 23 is one of the most, I think, elegant vintage that will be coming out of Paso. And a lot of winemakers are telling me this, people who made wine in 2011, that this reminds them 2012. So the wines in 2012, they took a little while to come back, But once they came back, even now, 2011's, if you find your hands on 2011, any Paso wine, it's just beautiful.
Hmm.
Right.
So I want to dig in more to the 23s, but before we do that, can you talk about some of the current lineup all the way up to your new exciting summer release?
Yeah, so we do have a few bottles here, what we actually promoted as the wine fanatic pack, but we're going to talk about this rosé here. I think I saw some rosés being poured today. It's
Yeah.
Carol's absolute, she's fanatical about Paso wine, but also fanatical about rosé. I think she's our top rosé buyer of all time. That's your trophy, Carol. So our rosé is a Saignée style rosé, meaning it's juice that's pulled off of the red wine skins after about 3 to 4 hours. And we tend to like rosés that are made with Grenache and Mourvedre as a backbone. It's aromatic, it's beautifully juicy and fruity. But I will say that the 23 vintage is one of those that I'm like, yes, charcuterie and cheese plates and pepperoni pizza, and like it's a great cookout wine, or it's great all on its own. 24, it's good with all of that, but you're going to find something that is now it's just the vintage, guys. It's now skewing a little bit more toward Provençal rosé, which I'm very excited about. It's still a robust, and it's still a Copia rosé, but it has that sort of like lighter hue. It's more salmon than like a deeper pink. So it's a lot different, Carol. You got to try it.
And last couple of years, the reason it changed is we have started using amphoras to make rosé, and also neutral oak. So we used to make rosé always in stainless steel drums, and I realized that that was good rosé, but a little bit more singular. So we are trying to create more mouthfeel with a high amount of acid. So you are it's a more refreshing. It's, you can have with seafood, you can have it at the pool, something fatty, or it will go very well with all of those things.
Yeah. Then next in the lineup, we have mainly focused on one Rhone white varietal wine per year. Now that's another change that hopefully down the way you'll see a lot more of these Rhone white varietals. We have planted 5 different Rhone white varietals at the Adelaida estate, and we don't have any at the Willow Creek estate. So I see a lot more perhaps interesting blends, maybe even single varietal white blends down the line. But the one that we feature now is a combination of 3 varietals. So in the 23 white, which is the current release, we have Roussanne, Viognier, and Picpoul Blanc. The 24 white is released right now on our website because there is literally 8 bottles of this left in the house. So the next one is coming very, very soon, and it's still a combination of these 3. This one, Varinder likes to call a red wine drinker's white wine. It doesn't mean that it's as bold as a red wine. It has texture. It's very interesting white wine in terms of texture.
Yeah. So the way we make white wine, and this white wine is, we use 3 different vessels. So I do a co-ferment of Roussanne and Viognier in a amphora. Then I do the rest of the Roussanne goes in neutral oaks. Then I use, for our case, it's only 175 cases, not a whole lot of wine. But then I take all my Viognier, and the rest of the Viognier goes in new oak. Because Viognier can be very, very aromatic. I want to tame those aromatic. I like some of them. So I use 100% new oak on the Viognier. Then I take Picpoul Blanc. Here is acting like a backbone for the acidity, keep it refreshing. And I use that, I make that in stainless steel. So 3 different mediums to make this wine. And idea is to just create some layers of flavor.
Next, we'll side by side this is exactly what we held. You got to do the whole pose we did at our wedding. See, this is how we stood. We're 2 different varietals. It's like it's like her story and his story is
Yeah.
what it is. I love Grenache. He loves Syrah, but of course, Syrah is the reason why we are here in Paso. The story and the source are our Grenache-driven varietal wine and our Syrah-driven varietal wine. It's nearly all Grenache in 2022, and because you guys have taken the time to spend this hour with us, I'm gonna let a little sneak peek release about the 23 story. It is 100% Grenache.
Yes.
No Syrah in the 23 story. So I'm really excited about that.
And from 2022, we also started using a lot more concrete to make Grenache and then also age Grenache. And Grenache loves concrete. And so as in 2023 and 2024, our Grenache, I think, it's gonna elevate to the next level.
And then the source Syrah, for the new folks on this Zoom, I can tell you that this is kind of the perfect bottle. If you were going to try one wine from Copia, it should be the source. Even though I love Grenache, I'm telling you it should be the source because this is what we hang our hat on. This is our flagship wine. And we'll talk more about it for those that are coming tomorrow, but it is the reason why we came to Paso, the source of our inspiration. And we really believe that particularly the west side of Paso, it should just be known for Syrah, to be honest. I mean, quietly for a decade now, this region and this sub-region of Willow Creek and Adelaida in particular have been garnering upper 90s and 100 points for their Syrahs. And only now are people actually kind of waking up to this reality. And we did too, only in 2015 when we came and we visited 8 wineries and spent a couple of hours at each, Tablas Creek being one of them actually. It was an awakening for us. We're like, what is this? What is this stuff? It is so luxurious, opulent, concentrated. It has all of the beautiful qualities, depending on where it's grown, of maybe the northern Rhone sometimes, maybe the southern Rhone. For us, we have one foot in both of those regions as an inspiration. We love the peppery kind of blue fruit notes that we can get at times, but we love the black fruited kind of warmer climate of Paso Syrah as well. And we try to create a balanced blend when it comes to the source. So that's the wine that I think, like, if I had to take one bottle with me to the last on the last day on earth, I would take the source from Copia.
But the truth to be about the Paso region is that the blending here is amazing. The way you can blend wines, especially Grenache and Syrah being the main components, but having Mourvedre, all those varietals do so well in Paso. The Mourvedre comes from literally originates from Spain, and then Grenache is also originates from Spain, and Syrah from France. But these are all warm weather or hot climate grapes. And I think what we have here in Paso, we have that hot climate with the cool nights, have that calcareous soil. I think this is there's no surprise that Paso can grow a lot of different varietals, not only Rhone, but you can grow Italians, you can grow Greek, you can grow, I mean, we already know the Bordeaux grow well.
Spanish.
So yeah, so Spanish. So I think it is we are just blessed with the microclimate and the soil. And then the job of us as farmers and winemakers is to what Anita was alluding to, what I always say, that if any wine, doesn't matter what wine, is always approximately 85% water, then 14 to 15% ethanol, right? Or the alcohol. And there is only 1% what we call other material, other stuff. And that is what differentiate between good, great, and amazing wine. And that 1% is all the stuff you will hear in tasting rooms, the phenolics, your color, anthocyanins, flavonoids, tannins, all the good stuff. And that's good for your health too. That is only 1% or less. But that 1% or less, you have to kind of grow in the vineyard. That's where the vineyard comes in picture. If you as a farmer are not growing, you can control that. There are ways, there are practices we do, the deficient irrigation, how much fruit we have on the vine, how we do the leaf pulling, how much sun exposure to the grapes, and how much air circulates. All those things impact that 1%. And once you grow that 1%, then our job in the wine, in the cellar, is to extract that. Once you extract that, then you, as a cellar master, you protect that for next 2 years before you bottle. Once it is in the bottle, it's a done deal.
Hey, wait, what bottle were you holding,
Oh.
Varinder?
This you?
What
But
is
wait,
that-
there's more.
What is that called?
So this is the new baby. And I feel like Varinder has to tell you about it because it's his wine.
No.
It's
What is it
absolutely
called?
It's
It's
Zoom.
called Joom.
Zoom.
Jhoom. Joom.
Okay.
And Zoom literally means it means that dance dance when nobody's watching you. It's like you swirl, and also it means let it go, let it be, let it go. And it's our first semi-carbonic 100% Grenache. It is a wine that it's a chillable red, so it's just a level above rosé. So, but it has a little bit more color. The way we make it, the way the carbonic wine is made, it is basically you take the grapes, mostly whole clusters, you put it in a tank or bin, whatever, and then you remove all the oxygen from that tank by throwing in dry ice, which is carbon dioxide, and then you seal it. You seal the tank. Something amazing happens.
You said with dry ice?
Yes.
No
So
kidding. Okay. I didn't
so
know
you-
how you did that. Okay.
yeah. So you just take all.
Basically, that removes the
So
oxygen.
basically, you remove all the oxygen and you create this inert environment for the grapes. Now, mind, all the grapes, when they come from the vineyard, they have some amount of native yeast on them. Okay. So, and then you seal it and you walk away for 10 to 12 days. You don't open, you don't do nothing. It is on, you let them go.
And here I am. This is 100% Grenache, by the way, guys. And it's my favorite varietal. And I was like, what do you mean we're going to do nothing? Like, what do you mean by that? That's absurd. And also,
No
like,
intervention. Right.
yeah, well, I put a link in the chat and you should read my writing. It's all 100% true what I wrote there. It's how this whole wine came to be because, you know, being a married couple, running a business together, I mean, I guess technically both of us have veto power, but when it comes to Grenache, I really have veto power. Like this would not be bottled if I didn't say okay. But I didn't say, okay, the whole harvest, I kind of stink-eyed this bin. I was like, what is this? I don't know what monster you're creating. This is not a Copia wine. We make lush, like concentrated red varietal wine. And what is this do nothing Grenache wine? And I was so negative about it the whole time. I was like, that bin, I don't know what's happening with that. So I don't know. I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist.
And she made me promise if it's not good, we're
Not putting it
we're gonna let it go. I said, sure, why not?
I think he always knew
Yeah.
it was
So
gonna be good.
after 11 days, you open the bin, you open the lid, and you take a sample, you see, and then all of a sudden when you open the lid, it's like rose petal.
He made sure I was in the room because he was really smug about this whole thing, guys. He was so smug. He was like, wait, just wait. And I was like, I don't know what that Franken wine is. I'm not going to be impressed. I don't know why you think I'm going to be impressed. He opens it up and it's like layers upon layers of shrink wrap around this bin, and they cut it open and open the lid, and the whole cellar immediately, because imagine something that's been capped for that long.
Gas.
You know, whether it's going to be vinegar or wine, we don't know. And he opens it up and it's like huge rose petal, like you're walking through a rose garden. and this bright red, like raspberry, wild
Right.
strawberry, ripe raspberry and strawberry thing going on in the cellar. And I had that moment where I was like,
So,
damn it,
so,
it's really good.
so what really happens is that the fermentation, because the grapes already have yeast, fermentation starts happening within the berry without oxygen, and it really leads to this beautiful aromatic thiols and esters formation in the berries. And so once, by the time I opened after 11 days, it was almost 70%. 70% of the fermentation was already done, meaning all the 70% of the sugar was converted to alcohol. At that time, we pressed it again, kept it very inert with the dry ice, and once it's pressed, went back to the tank, and then we let it ferment again in cold room very slowly. And so it's not a serious wine, but it's amazing chillable red wine that you can just, if you are not a white or rosé person, and it's a great wine for a barbecue or at the pool.
Yeah, my only contribution to this wine is the name. It's a lesson to myself that sometimes you just have to let it be, let it go.
It's a great name.
So
Uh,
if we can have a little bit more time, I want to go back and
We
read
have some time, guys, if anybody has questions or anything.
Yeah,
we'll steal a lot of your time tomorrow. I want to go back to the experience part because that's been kind of in the group, it's been a discussion. And I was listening to your story about doing tastings in your home during the pandemic. And I know your background, Anita, and the two of you are two of the most hospitable people I've ever met. You know how to, hospitality, how to make people feel special and welcome in your home. A lot of it is some people want to go back, like the day back and prior to the pandemic when you bellied up to a bar and you waited in line with people to get tastings. Me personally, my opinion is, yeah, there was that enjoyable when you were doing what I would call more like a mass tastings. You were running from one place to the next. And I like the structure now. Maybe that's because of my age. I like the structure. I like the experience. And it seemed to me, it was a perfect fit for you and Anita and Varinder here in particular. It's a perfect fit where you can be hospitable to people, have a conversation with them, not just a bar environment where you're pouring some wine and you go, this is the latest release we have. And, and so decided that this is the way we should make this wine. And, they went through the quick minute. Tell me what you think, how that all impacted your efforts, because I think all of it's for the better. And I know what a wonderful job you do at your own place. And so,
Well, I think, I've worked at some of the most elitist, fanciest type of places you can imagine in terms of the restaurant world. Just the one thing that hits you in the face when you walk in the door is like the thick veil of pretension. And that is not what we are. However, we want to do all the things. We want to do all the things that make people feel coddled, make people feel taken care of, because that's what we like when we go out. And you don't need to have this overly formal environment to have a little bit of a structured tasting. So I consider us to be that happy medium, and we went very consciously into this process. Number one, I am the only Copia employee, maybe sometimes him, in the beginning, that has ever worked at a belly up to the bar Copia experience. Back when we were pouring at a tiny counter in Paso Underground, which is a little wine tasting collective that doesn't exist anymore, and it was behind a retail boutique. So I have done that experience.
doesn't exist anymore. It
What's
doesn't,
that?
it's no longer there.
It doesn't exist. And people who got their start there, namely like Hubba Wines, Clos Solin started there, and Copia
Turtle Rock.
started there. Turtle Rock.
I met Turtle Rock there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what I'm not really poo-pooing that experience either. Like if somebody wants to come into Copia today and grab a seat at the bar, you can. And that's a-okay with me. And it's a-okay with him because we liked doing that back when you could drive to Napa and say, hey, I don't know that place. I'm just gonna go drive in and see.
Yeah.
And so we allow that within reason. If we're like completely piled out the door and we can't spend an adequate amount of time with you, then we might adjust. We don't say no very well at Copia, so we'll figure it out. We'll find something that is a great experience for you. But that's just it, Mike. You mentioned it, experience. That's what it is about these days. And people's expectations are that if they're buying this special product, which is kind of like time in a bottle for me, but for other people, let's face it, it's a beverage and it's a luxury item. I mean, we owe it to you to give you the appropriate experience to enjoy that wine and to purchase that wine. And the reason why we do things the way we do at Copia, the reason why we're probably a little bit extra when it comes to the hospitality is that we've got, and I think this is the point that maybe doesn't get across to the general consumer. I think it gets across to everybody here today. But what doesn't get across to the general consumer is that these family-owned wineries like Copia, we are 100% in. We are all in. All the savings, all the things we did in our past life that were success points, and we had other businesses that we did very well at. We took all of that and put it toward this passion. And so why wouldn't we give our all when it came to the hospitality? We give our all in the winemaking, and we definitely want to give our all.
We want to make sure the guests, when they come in, and there is a saying in Sanskrit, Atati Devavo, meaning the guest is God. And that's how we grew up. When the guest comes to our home, we are, hands down, 100% taking care of the guest. So same thing in our tasting room for us. If you walk in, and we want to make sure you have the best experience from the hospitality point of view. So if you have the reservation, then we are ready for you. But if you just walk in, we will still take care of you. And that's how we want to work, because I think without guests, we are nothing. I mean,
We kind of did this before COVID. This was our idea before COVID. We built a tasting room that was like our living room because it just felt fun. And aren't we just supposed to be having fun? This is like, I had the boss who opened all the Michelin restaurants and had all the amazing wine in New York. He had a wonderful saying. He's like, yeah, we're doing all of that. We have world-class chefs. We're getting the 4 stars. We have the Michelin stars. But at the end of the day, we are just serving soup, right? Like, it's not like, you don't have to be that pretentious. We're feeding people. We're giving wine to people. This should be fun. It should be fun.
yeah.
So you guys have said it well. Mike and I have talked about this often. The fact that I think you guys could be a case study of how to grow a brand, and correct my formula here, because this is what we've talked about. What I kind of see is the combination of great wine and everything that goes into it, the art and science that goes into all that, the great hospitality, which you've talked a lot about, the large supportive network, which we haven't talked much about today, but that you guys have, and I think, at least my perception, 2 people that take your business serious but not yourselves serious. I think you kind of described that to me.
That's true.
That feels to me like the formula. And again, Mike and I have talked a little bit about this off and on of how you guys really should be the case study of how to grow a brand. But correct my formula. What am I wrong about? What am I missing?
No, I think you're right.
right.
Absolutely. First of all, you have to, and I would add, the only thing I will add is that you are driven by passion and not, let's say, dollars. because if you are, then wine business is none of your business because it is not, it is, you have to have the passion to do, be in that business, in this business. And at the same time, I would say, um, what I am feeling is that you have to genuinely believe in and take care of the guests, because at the end of the day, what Anita sometimes says that we want to provide you that 2 hour vacation from your busy life when you come to our tasting room. We want you to forget everything else and be there and just enjoy the wine and enjoy the stories. And I think that is so key to that, to success, because there's so much good wine in Paso and in the world, and in Paso especially. And then somebody comes and decides to come to Copia. We want to do the best we can, to present our wines and tell them our stories, why we're doing this. But at the end of the day, it is a tough. When I look at, if I put my MBA hat on it, it is it's very tough business, and if you think it as a business, but we are always right from the beginning. It's a 100% passion driven. I enjoy every day in the vineyard when I'm there. I was tasting wines today, and I am so proud of the wines that are coming from 23. And it's just it to me it satisfied my soul in a way that, like, we planted these wines, we grew them, now we harvest them, we make wine, then we present it to you. It's like it's a 360 degrees total circle for us, and we know these wines as our kids, as they're little babies to us.
What struck me, I think it was 2022, you had a tasting or a pickup party at your home, right?
Yes.
That was the first one I went to, and I understood, because you guys participate in this group. You're not critical, you just participate, you're there, you engage with people. And John Seals, when he was working for you, I was back getting a splash of wine, and he goes, like half of these people are wine fanatics. And I'm like going, then all of a sudden it dawned on me how much impact, one, you'd had on the group, two, that the group was responding and how responsive the group was. So that was really kind of sat in my head, and I told Jason about it. I go, man, this is like amazing. But the biggest thing is, one, you make excellent wine. There's 300 wineries, 300 winemakers out there, even more, or one that are launching. And you make excellent wine. You're terrific hosts. And like Jason was kind of going towards, and because we're both got sales backgrounds, people buy from people they like, and everybody that I know likes you a lot. And if somebody told me they don't like you, I tell them they're full of shit. And,
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Let's be honest, we're not for everybody, but we try to just do the right thing.
Okay, so you're 90%.
John Seals,
You're 90% good.
him. Here's a text from John Seals while we're on this Zoom trying our wine. Isn't that amazing? John Seals he was our employee. He's now with another wonderful winery, but he was a wine fanatic before he even worked in Paso. That's how we met John. So
no, I like John a lot, and so he was great. But when he told me that, it all of a sudden dawned on me, wait a minute, this is amazing. Wait a minute, you're telling me 50% of these people had experienced Copia because your participation, not because of I wasn't advocating.
Yeah.
All I did was put a picture of your bottles up and go, this is really good. You should try it. That's it. And Jason and he will admittedly tell you, we are Syrah driven.
Yeah.
So we're always, if somebody's got some Syrah, we're always going like, let's go here and try that. And
Yeah.
And,
No,
that's how our fellowship kind of started off, as we love Syrah. So
yeah.
Yeah.
As I alluded before, I feel our brand grew up as this group grew up. I have seen that, and I am, to me, it is like, when you have people, this is ideal. Like, I mean, you have people who love Paso wines, they come to Paso, for me, I always tell people, we are also Paso wine fanatics. The only
Yeah.
difference is we left our life and started making Paso wines.
We go to so many other wineries, obviously, besides our own. We're members at other Paso wineries, and other Paso wineries are members at Copia.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that everybody here must realize by now, being regular visitors to Paso, is that this community is unlike any other, and certainly unlike any other winemaking community.
So a fun fact, we remember when we started, and that was not too long ago. But we look at the new winemakers, those younger winemakers, and we do 100% whatever we can to help them. So that I don't usually sell fruit, but I only sell to a couple of people. Like I sell to Alex from Albert, a few people. So we bring those smaller winemakers to taste with us, with our staff. We have already had few
Yeah, can we tell you about these three? Well, Albert is one that everybody should try, but I'm going to tell you guys about two other really, really new producers that you should all go try, and they're very different from one another. One is Samantha Mogul of Ruach.
yeah, right?
Ruakh. She's our neighbor here at the Willow Creek Vineyard. She's just down the road from us. And we've been following her since her very beginning, and she's got a wonderful story and wonderful wines. And then Idola, Idola, very different wine. And it is the winemaker and the owners, Riker Wall, who is the winemaker at Cordant right now, and his wife Pooja are the creators of Idola. They are natural winemakers, very different from Copia wine, but I encourage you to try them all because they're well-made wines. He was a sommelier in Miami before coming here and interning at Denner.
And we work together in Denver.
I'm going to put that in the chat for you guys, Ruach and Idola.
The reason I'm saying,
So-
I think this story is because it's so important to encourage new and young winemakers to continue to push Paso. We are, as I said, if you go out of California, maybe the major towns, people know about Paso, but not many people. It's still, it's all about Napa, and Sonoma, there's nothing wrong with it. They make great wines. But I'm saying we have a lot of young talent coming out of Paso, and it's amazing to see that.
So Sam did the bottle share.
Yes.
Yes.
Got to meet. I first met her. She was pouring at
I love it.
Jacob Toft. That's where he met her, and she said, "I got my own wine." And I told her, I said, "I'll buy some bottles when you release," and I did, and they're very good.
Yeah.
But she was there, and I got to meet her, and she's super funny. So we had
She's an emotional gal. She's
right.
Yeah.
Super funny. And Jason and I both buy wine from Alex Bear every release, and his wine is really good.
Yeah, and his Ganache has some Copia.
A lot of Copia wine.
Estate, yeah.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
sold it to Alex without asking me. I'm just going to say that.
Good guy. He's a good guy too. We really
yes.
Jason and I both like him.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
So what we should do, it's 7:24. Let's open it up. Ask your questions. If you want to give some hugs and kisses and to Varinder and Anita, go ahead. Open your mic up or raise your hand, and then I'll call on you. Susan Thorne, you got you want to say something? I saw you waving.
I'm just sending hugs and kisses.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you, Susan. Hugs
I'll
and
see you
kisses.
guys on July 3rd. I'll see you.
All right.
That's-
I hope you're healing well. I saw the progress, so I'm happy for you.
Right, that's
Yes.
an amazing journey.
It's-
That's an incredible journey I've been following there. Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
I'm a blessed girl. Thank you guys. See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Thanks for
Yeah.
joining us, Susan. Anybody
Yeah.
else?
Dave.
Raise your hand, Dave. Go ahead.
Hi guys, I really enjoyed this, and this is just listen to you is basically why we go to Paso. Just the vibe is just way better than other places I go, and let's understand that just me personally, I never disrespect any wine or winemaker. You all work way too hard to make something for me to enjoy, and it'd be like me telling Picasso your painting stinks. I won't ever do it. I won't ever do it. But
Thank you, Dave.
I mean, it's been great. The wine's great. And John Seals basically did a good job with us when we were there. So but we are hoping to get out there soon and certainly want to drop by. But thank you. And once again, happy birthday, Brenda.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Dave.
really
Thank
kind.
you. Thank
Gotta
you for
go.
joining
Bye
us
now.
today.
Hey, Carol, go ahead.
Okay, I have three things. The first
fun.
one is from Pete, and he wants to know, have you considered going into somehow they're at my house, but somehow they went off to go cook dinner. Pete wants to know, have you considered diving into Petite Sirah at all?
I have planted an acre of Petite Sirah in the new place, and it'll be so most of the
You're like tiptoeing around
Okay.
the elephant in the room. It's my least favorite variety.
I know. So
Well, it's Pete's favorite. I'm sorry.
But he planted an acre.
I planted an acre of it. I will absolutely love to make. It's a great small. Sometimes it's a great blender in small quantity, but I will one day. I'm always open to make single vineyard, single varietal wine if I feel that is possible, and that is our pursuit. So yeah, you never know. Petite Sirah could be a pursuit one day.
How about
All right, question two,
Tempranillo?
Carol.
Question two. Susan wants to know, Anita, your lipstick shade. And
Oh, okay.
you asked like twice. I gotta ask.
So Anita does not wear lipstick. Anita wears
Oh,
gloss. It's Dior Addict in Rosewood.
thank you. And then the number three is from me. I need everyone to unmute to sing.
Oh,
yes.
We're
No,
gonna
no,
practice
no,
it.
No, you
Before
don't
we
want
do
to
that,
hear me.
It doesn't
sing.
have to happen right this second, but it could happen before everyone leaves.
Verinder, you mentioned other varietals. What about Tempranillo? I think you'd make an amazing Tempranillo.
We have a Tempranillo.
We do make Tempranillo. It's sold out. It's called Matador. I love
Oh, that's right.
Tempranillo.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I've had it.
Yeah.
My apologies.
And then 22, so we made in 21 and 22. 22 is getting ready to be released. I aged it for 30 months this time. So I'm very happy with 22 Matador when we release
It's gonna
it.
be spring of next year. We gotta wait a little.
Yeah. Lisa, is it seats or sites?
Seats,
Seats,
very
okay.
good. I have to say, I'm a huge Paso Wine Fanatics fan. Thank you for what you do with the group and for what you do for Paso winemakers and wineries. I have an elderly dog who is needing to go out. He's giving me that signal, but I just want to say I have not yet been to Copia, so I am super excited for tomorrow. I finally get to taste your wines that I've been so excited about trying, and I get to meet you, and I'm just really, really excited about that. And I just wanted to again wish you a happy birthday and much love and success in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. We'll
Thank
see you tomorrow.
Lisa.
Anybody else? Raymond, go ahead.
Hey, Anita and Varinder,
Hey,
thank you.
bottling interns.
We're ready to join the bottling team. Yes.
Yes. You touched you both
These guys touched
every case.
every case pretty much of the new fall release, right?
Yeah.
Some of it anyway.
So fun. So fun.
We just want to thank you because you not only make fantastic wine, and as Mike said, you're a great host, but I'll tell you what, one of the reasons we love Paso and we keep coming back year after year, we're from Michigan, everybody. And you actually treat us like family.
Oh.
We feel like we are part of the Sahi family. And we got to meet your dad, Varinder, and you mean a lot to us. And so thank you for
Thank you, John and Tammy. You are family. We feel that way because you know, you are only here for a month, and get to see you when you're here, and really appreciate your support, support of everyone, and thank you. That's how we feel. You know, we feel when we see the names on reservation, like even if it is something else going on, like I'm gonna go to the tasting, I wanna say hi at least, you know. So, and very important for us.
And we're
Yeah,
gonna
we don't
sneak
even call it the Copia Club. We call it the Copia family because it kind of is, you know.
Yeah. And we're gonna sneak out and see you in August.
See you in
See you in
August.
I saw where is
Michael and Delia.
Mike and Delia? Yeah, go ahead.
We just want to wish Varinder a very happy birthday. We had the pleasure of meeting you in person back in March. You have been liking all of our wine tastings in Paso and in other regions even, and we were so happy to meet you in person, and you made us feel just like everybody else said, like family. And we had to join because the wines were so spectacular and your hospitality was amazing. And we're really looking forward to meeting Anita in person tomorrow. So this is very exciting.
Yes, I'm looking forward to as well. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Delia and Mike. I appreciate that.
Hey, Rob Volt, where you had a question? Where are you from?
We're from Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
My wife Jenny is with us.
Hi, Jenny.
Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
We started with the Pursuit, but now we're in the 2022 Cure, and Jenny's like, "Oh, this is just delicious." But I had a serious question. So, of all of your vintages, all of your styles, brands, wines that you have made, which one 5 years from now, take emotion out of it, but 5 years from now, which one is going to be tasting the best?
Stuff that is body, I would say.
Do you have the same answer I do? I wonder. It's
Both
21.
write your answers down and then show them at the same time.
No, it's 21.
21, I think, because 23 we don't know, we're just bottling right now, but 21 right now, which is in bottle, I think well, 5 years down the road it'll be singing.
But Rob and Jenny have a very interesting sort of perspective because they came to our last Sona Suffer dinner and they got to try almost every vintage of Copia created thus far.
The Cure, right?
Yes, the Cure.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So you see how they're drinking, and that's the Cure that you tasted, the vertical of that. We don't have a deep library, so every bottle we open, it's like one of 4 cases in existence, maybe. So it's fun, but we want to share it that way moving forward in these dinners with members.
I think Dave also had a question.
No, guys, I just want to thank you for when I heard about your wine, I wanted to order. You guys don't ship to Nebraska, but Anita found a way,
We found a way, Dave.
a way to get it here, and I really appreciate the extra effort you made to get me wine.
Well, thank you for your support.
Dave. Thank you so much. You haven't been to the tasting room, but you ordered wine. That is a lot of trust you put in us, and thank you.
I'm looking for a comment. I can't find it. Bev, you made an interesting comment before that really caught my eye. Where are you from, Bev?
I live in Brea. So
just right down the street from me, more or less.
Yeah, and we come up probably 4 or 5 times a year to Paso, and we met Varinder and Anita at a friend's house way back when.
Yes,
they had
a
separate tasting, in Newport, and we went, oh, these guys make kind of nice wine. And fast forward to really getting to taste the wines, and any of you that are still on, who are not wine club members. My husband and I love wine. We love Paso wine especially, but we've really pared it down now to only 4 wine clubs.
Well,
and Copia is one of them.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Bev.
you. Thank you, Bev.
if you and your husband want to come down tomorrow, I'm sure we can find a couple spots for you. You're close by. You're not that far away.
I'm here all by myself with my cat who's crawling all.
Sure.
No, she made a comment earlier that really caught my eye. It was about the I won't even characterize it so I can find it. But anyways, anybody? Lara.
Hello. Thank you guys for being on, and thank you for everything that you've done with this community. It's been amazing. I have to say, Patrick and I were resisting going to see you guys for a long time, and we had tasted some of your wine at an event, and then we bought a bottle of wine at a restaurant one night in Paso, in downtown Paso. And I was like, oh, I think I'm really gonna like their wine. This is dangerous. Sure enough, we finally came and met you, Anita, and tasted the wine. We're definitely all in, and very grateful for all of your hospitality and what you do for the community. It's really good. And unlike Dave Phillips left already, so I missed saying this, but he was one of the first ones, and he was like, oh, I won't ever tell anybody if I don't like their wine. I go, oh no, I'll say, hey, it's not for me, you know, if I don't like it. I recognize that some people like things different than I do. But, but there's everything in the Copia lineup, and I'm just being jealous of envious of the rest of you who have the 21s, because I don't have any of those. So
well, we do have a small amount still kind of tucked away. What I mean by small amount is like 2-3 cases at the tasting room. So you can always reach out. Let me know.
I really think we need to get.
We have some of those too, Laura. We could make a deal on those if they sell out.
Anita and Varinder, could you tell us, I'm always curious about this, how do you figure out how much wine you hold back from a vintage for further tasting, wine club things, verticals, all of that? How do you figure out how much to hold back?
Well, I mean, I asked that very same question of my peers, but back in the beginning, we held back nothing because, you know, you have 250 cases, 450 cases, or 100 cases, and way back in the beginning, we thought, oh, we'll hold back 4 cases just for ourselves. I mean, being so naive, we're like, oh, no one's gonna want to do a care or do a winemaker did. I mean, we're just gonna sell a little bit of wine. And now we're still not holding back enough. I will tell you this. The Copia library only exists with approximately 10 cases left of each wine in each vintage. Other than 18 and backwards, there's only 4 cases left of that stuff. And it's sad, but we also thought in these beginning years, I'd rather that the wine is in your hands than us sitting up and stockpiling this wine. I mean, we're world travelers as well, and we go to Bordeaux and the Rhone, and it's specifically Bordeaux, I will say, has more of this going on, where we see wine that's from the 50s and the 60s, and we know that what's in that bottle is just straight up vinegar. It is just vinegar. I mean, I know a lot of people open these first growths and old wine, and they're like, oh, it's just amazing. And it's like, not to us. It's just old. And it's just like, we'd rather you have it. We'd rather you have it.
Those wines are kind of musty, right?
Yeah. I would say maybe the larger wineries might hold back 10% of their production. That's a number I've heard thrown around.
Yeah, but we were keeping around 2 to 5%, and hopefully we will get even 5% will be good for us if we can hold it.
And just so you guys know, we're doing very small dinners this year. So like we have another one coming up Saturday, right after tomorrow's event. We're coming back here for a small dinner. We're putting together a dinner every 2 to 3 months here at the winery, and maybe hopefully in Northern and Southern California a little bit more. But we're just doing dinners of 20 people. 20 to 26 people. That way we can open these older wines and we're not just depleting the whole thing in one shot, but we're able to share it with you guys. So stay tuned to those emails. I'm going to try to get better about announcing these well in advance. One thing I want to tell all the members on this call is that the club party is, there's a whole weekend, 17th and 18th of October. And that 17th special winemaker dinner is going to kind of be a blowout. So I would definitely put that on the
The
calendar.
blowout is what, the 18th?
17th is the private winemaker dinner, which you would buy a ticket to. And yes, the other blowout party is on the 18th, where you're all invited and you get 2 tickets. So
I have a personal question. Did somebody else have a question? I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I just want to go back. You said something about blending, Verinder. Michael Kelly's not on here any longer, right? Because he's gonna.
Well, we're losing.
I believe that what Paso brings to the California wine circle or industry is, I think you guys are master blenders, whereas like Napa, they don't do a lot of that because you're growing so many different varietals, and you can because of the soil, but they're kind of stuck in the Bordeaux, the Cab. Cab is Napa is like king, and they do grow some Syrah and everything. So, and the Syrahs are really good, but Rhone, but blending is a science in Paso. And I still don't understand how you guys decide percentages. I just don't get that. And you don't have to explain it to me right now.
No, we will be doing a blending seminars just for all of it'll be great experience where I will basically I'm going to do with the 24 blends. I'll keep all the single varietals, and then I think the best way to do blending is to experience it and just doing it. And we will do, and Mike, you have to come for that. I'll let you know at least 6 months in advance when we're doing it. And it's basically like, so we'll have 3 blend, single, we'll have Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. And then I will have my own blend, which will be our cure, but then I will have everybody else kind of creating their own blend. And we'll just, at the end of the day, we'll pick whoever comes closer to the final blend of what I came up with, and it'll be fun. And it doesn't have to be.
I just find it fascinating that you can take a dominant Syrah, Cab, add a little bit of this, and how do you decide to do that? You don't have to explain it, but I find it fascinating.
It is.
Comes out to be the wonderful wine that it is, and I think you're a master at it. And there's a lot of other wineries that have great blends, and they always have. So when people are out actually going, well, I want 100% varietal, you can find those. It's just the blending is a real art that I don't completely understand. Anyway.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it is a lot of trial and error, and it does change. Like it is hard to believe that, but a couple of percent up and down can change the wine completely.
Matt, you have something?
I was just going to say I'm super happy that you covered or that you mentioned that you're going to do like a blending seminar, blending workshop kind of thing. I've been wanting to do something like that for years, and I think that's going to be fantastic because, like you, Mike, I'm always just fascinated how someone will be like, oh, but if we add 1%, Roussanne, it's gonna, give it, and it's like that is so fantastic, and we've all had such great Paso wines that are these sometimes very unconventional blends, and yet they're magic oftentimes. So super excited for that. And now that we're, like I mentioned, going to be in the neighborhood in a few weeks here, I'm excited. Yeah. So
Can I ask you where you're from?
so we're in San Diego, Mira Mesa right now,
Oh,
but
okay.
we come up several times per year. And yeah, now it'll be getting to hang out with y'all very soon.
To go through LA anymore.
Well, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
All right, Carol is champing at the bit to do this
Let's
song.
do it, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Listen, I need everyone to unmute. Shh, don't have to shout at it.
What happened?
All right.
Unmute
On
everyone. All right.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
And we've all had too much wine.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Wow, guys,
Thank
we
you.
should start a choir.
Yes, cheers.
Clearly, we should not. We need to practice.
We need more wine.
A lot more.
That was
Thank you,
pretty
guys.
poor.
There was a lot of delay in there.
Yes.
Happy
This was
birthday.
for me. This was a very well spent birthday evening with all of you. So I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you.
We will see you tomorrow. I can
Yes.
see 4 or 5. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow in the backyard in our patio.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, everybody that joined us, especially new faces. I love that. And join us again.
Thank you.
All right, take
everybody.
care, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Brenda and Anita. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Thank you for spending your birthday with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm fading. I am so tired of it.